Part 1. The nature of untouchable power. Power doesn't collapse when it's exposed. It collapses when it becomes inconvenient. Long before the world fully understood the crimes of Jeffrey Epstein, something far more important had already happened. Power had decided he was worth protecting. And that detail matters more than any headline. Because this isn't a story about crime. It's a story about immunity. 500 years ago, Niccolò Machiavelli warned that power does not survive by being moral. It survives by being strategic, by knowing when to tolerate corruption, when to hide it, and when to remove it. Machiavelli would not ask how Epstein got away with it. He would ask something colder. Why was he useful for so long? Because power does not protect what it hates. It protects what it needs. Part 2. Proximity, leverage, and manufactured silence. Epstein did not rule nations. He did not command armies. He didn't even hold public office. And yet, he moved freely through the most powerful institutions on earth: politics, finance, academia, philanthropy. That wasn't an accident. Machiavelli understood that the most dangerous figures are rarely at the top. They are beside the top. They control access. They arrange introductions. They keep secrets. They connect people who should never be connected publicly. In The Prince, Machiavelli explains that power is stabilized not by trust, but by dependency. When people rely on you, or fear what you know about them, you become untouchable. Epstein didn't build power by force. He built it by proximity. And proximity creates leverage. Here's where things get uncomfortable. Power does not operate on innocence or guilt. It operates on risk management. Alliances are strongest when betrayal is expensive, when exposure would hurt everyone involved. This is how silence is manufactured. Part 3. When loyalty breaks and power recalibrates. Warnings existed, red flags existed, opportunities to intervene existed. But power tolerated him because removing him would have threatened donors, institutions, reputations, and alliances. Machiavelli would say this wasn't failure. It was equilibrium. Power doesn't ask, "Is this wrong?" It asks, "Is this dangerous to us?" As long as Epstein was containable, power protected him. Because corruption that stays hidden is preferable to chaos that spreads. But Machiavelli also warned that no protection lasts forever. Eventually, liabilities grow heavier than loyalty. And when that moment comes, power doesn't reform, it sacrifices. This is one of Machiavelli's coldest lessons. When the state is threatened, individuals become expendable. You remove the piece that endangers the board, not the board itself. Epstein was never the system. He was a piece within it. When media scrutiny intensified, when public pressure mounted, when political stability weakened, the calculation changed. Silence became expensive. Protection became visible. Risk outweighed usefulness. So power let go. Part 4. The pattern, the illusion, and the real warning. Suddenly, the narrative narrowed. One villain, one monster, one convenient ending. Machiavelli would warn us right here, because systems do not offer up scapegoats unless it saves them. People want to believe Epstein fell because morality won, because justice finally arrived, because truth prevailed. Machiavelli would call that comforting theater. He would say the balance of power shifted. Economic pressure, political instability, public distrust. When systems weaken, secrets lose their protective value. Loyalty fractures. Silence cracks. Truth leaks. Not because people become brave, but because staying quiet becomes too costly. This is not an awakening. It's a recalibration. And here's the most dangerous illusion of all. Believing Epstein was an anomaly. Machiavelli didn't believe in anomalies. He believed in patterns. Where access is rewarded more than transparency, untouchable figures emerge. Where silence is safer than truth, abuse persists. Where proximity shields behavior, power protects its own. Not because these men are extraordinary, but because the system makes them necessary. If the incentives don't change, the names will. Machiavelli would not be shocked by Epstein. He would only be shocked if we learn nothing. Because power does not survive by being good. It survives by choosing who to lose. And when power finally lets go, it never lets go of itself. It simply decides who becomes expendable. If this made you uncomfortable, that's the point. If it made you think, that's even better. Tell me in the comments, do you think systems like this can ever truly change? Or do they only replace names?